What is up, Retro Maniacs? Welcome to the Retro Card Chat Podcast. My name is Mike from Mike's Retro Trading Cards, and I am joined today by two men who lit up Atlantic City like a fireball or some kind of combination of those words. They are Joe Day and EP Eric Pahalik. How you doing, guys?
Good. EP still wants some fireball.
I'm doing great. It's always Fireball 30. When on the weekends, it's always Fireball 30.
So we are in Atlantic City. The beautiful backgrounds we have here are a little different than normal. That's because we are in our Airbnb and we are filming this before the last day of the National. And we're going to talk to you today about what we saw, what we thought, and should be a fun time. So why don't we start off, guys, with giving first impressions, like when you got up to the convention center, when you walked into the floor?
Overwhelming. I mean,
definitely.
That's the perfect word. Yep.
I mean, yep. I walked in and it was just literally as soon as you walk in, you're discombobulated. Like you don't know where the front is, where the back is. We were looking for a card yesterday. EP and I were just kind of walking. I'm like, is this even technically the back of the room? I don't know where we are. There was just so much stuff, so many people that it was really, really tough to. I don't want to say tough to concentrate, but it was just coming at you in waves pretty much the whole time we were there, with the exception of pretty much close to the end. People started to clear out and it was a little more comfortable. Unfortunately, we only had like a half hour of that, so we really couldn't do much.
Right.
But that was the best part of the show was right towards the end of day one when the room started to clear out. But yeah, just generally overwhelming, all sorts of things.
Yeah, I feel like the words with a lot of syllables fit here. I said last night I was flabbergasted. I'm still flabbergasted by, like, I mean, there are a number of reasons to be, but when you walk in there, and I even said to Joe yesterday when we were walking, I was like, this whole first half that we saw the first day, I can't imagine the stuff we missed just because we were totally overloaded looking at a case and seeing all of these ridiculous cards that you see people post one of them on Twitter, and here's a case of 50 of them, or here's a case of 20 of them. It's insane. So yeah, it was an amazing experience. Just amazing. Again, all the syllables, like so many awesome words.
Yeah, same for me. I mean, I've never seen anything like that before. Like, I used to sell comic books, and I went to Diamond Comic Distributors, had a big thing every year, and we went to that in Baltimore one time. But like, it wasn't like the masses of people all piled up in one place at one time. Like, you had a hard time trying to even look at a lot of the stands. Like, there are probably a lot of stands there we have no idea what they have because you couldn't even get near it. And like, just wow, like you just walk through the door and the size of it was just mind-blowing. It was just incredible. But
as we were driving in, our buddy Mike Jones, who was there the day before he came the first day, and he had walked the floor already. And then he started sending us pictures of things that he thought we might be interested in. Honestly, though, it was hard. Like, there were some things he sent us pictures of that we never walked past that booth. I don't know where and some of the booths I saw, it felt like 10 times. Like it just, again, the way you're kind of discombobulated, you really want to check everything out, but it's just almost impossible.
The thing is, it feels discombobulating, but I feel also like with the way they have the numbers set up above each row, like you're not really lost. Like, you're still going in the right direction. Right. It's just that there's so much stuff. There's just so much cool stuff, and I have no idea how we missed that table with the wrestling belts and the urn, the Undertaker urn. Yeah. Like, completely missed it. Like, I never saw it. Like, and I feel like we did a good job of canvassing most of the show floor, but we clearly missed that at least. Do we miss a whole row? Like, yeah. Like, it's wild. It's crazy.
And especially yesterday, like, there were so many people there. I think why we missed that was because it was down by the autograph area, and they had so many big name athletes there yesterday that anything down in that end was just a crowd of people, and you could barely even move to get through the aisle, yet alone see anything. So it must have been down there, because that was really the only area that we didn't really get a good canvas of to check everything out. But yeah, still amazing. Like, when you hear them talking about calling for photo ops with Floyd Mayweather and like
Yes.
you know
Yeah.
the
Right.
Bo
Bo
Jackson,
Jackson.
signing
Right.
and
Yeah.
Joe Montana.
Dan Marino.
Yep. Yeah.
Like that's just like you knew they were going to be there, you know, but like when you're walking around and you hear the names and like you realize they're all there, like how
Right.
cool. Just so cool.
I think it was you, Mike, that mentioned we were walking past and someone had a cart full of, I'm guessing, stuff to sell before you get to the, in the line to
Mhm.
have them autograph. And you said, I just saw a bunch of Pitt helmets. And
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, Marino signing today. And
Yep.
makes sense. Yeah. I
And he
appreciate
probably
that
had
they brought Pitt
Tony
helmets, by the way.
Dorsett on there too, right? Was
Yeah,
he here
exactly.
yesterday?
I think he was here the first day.
Okay, yeah.
I think he might have been
So-
here the first day. But yeah.
So the big question, I'm sure everybody's wondering, did anybody buy anything? Let's start with Joe. I know Mr. Tom Brady over here. I'm guessing if you bought anything, it might have been called Tom Brady. I don't know.
It might have been. Okay. So I spoiler alert, I did pick up a Tom Brady, but I will say
Oh,
I did also pick up a box of 1999 tops. So I
and
was looking
apparently it
through,
was $75.
it was price is real. This was the actual price. How much do you think this cost back in 1999, Mike? $30 maybe?
Yeah, probably
Not too bad.
30 to 40. Yeah.
But pick that up. I actually, when I was going through my cards recently, I had a row of tops just completely bricked. So these might be bricked in the packs. We'll see. But yeah, I figured I don't have any tops football from 99 in my collection at this point because of that. So before I even got on the show floor, someone finally delivered. I mean, I overpaid for this big time, and the guy couldn't even ship it to me priority. Whatever, man. Whatever.
I tried to renegotiate.
He
The price.
He tried to give me less. He bought me enough drinks the one night. But the thing that EP and I were actually, I mean, I saw it the first day we were here, and I'm like, wait, that's a really good price. I should see if I can get it for a little bit less. But the one thing I was kind of surprised there was we can talk about this in general, but like the prices, they were outlandish. I mean, a lot of the sticker prices to the point where it almost felt like an eBay situation where it's an buy it now or best offer, but the comps are like half of what the buy. So you're almost intimidated to offer something because if you do, it might be insulting. There was maybe one or two tables where I walked up, I'm like, oh, that's actually not a bad price for that card. I saw this the first day we were here. I should have picked it up then. I was worried I missed out on it, but I ended up getting the not great lighting. There it is. The 2000 Victory Brady 550 sticker. I asked, what the best they could do on it, and they ended up going down to 500, which is a little bit less than comps actually on eBay. So, and I didn't have to pay tax, didn't have to pay shipping, didn't have to worry about it getting to me and all that stuff. So, I was actually going to buy another Brady. And we might have an exclusive, some breaking news.
We'll hold off on that for now.
But okay. All right.
Yeah, let's get through here and then we'll get to that.
Okay.
Okay, EP, what'd you get?
There was a table, the table where Joe got that Topps football. There was a bunch of stuff that was right in our wheelhouse. And I remember we saw that the very first day we were there. Then we came back the next day. And it's like, I'm definitely buying something there. And I got a box of 1993 Collector's Edge. It's ripped for the channel.
Nice.
Very excited about that.
Those are the plastic ones, right?
Yeah. Yep. The second year
ones.
of that set.
Cool.
And then I got a box of 1995 Donruss baseball to open. And
nice.
I had a little a window of like from 1994 to 1996 ish, like early 96, where I didn't collect anything. So to open up some 94, 95 stuff is going to be a lot of fun. Baseball, football, basketball, I don't care. I'll just love opening any of that. And then I also, that same place, because I bought 2 boxes, the dude gave me a deal, gave me like $5 off. Then I walked up and I said, I'm going to get some of these random packs. I got a stack of random packs. They were 12 for $20. And the guy walks up and tells his daughter, hey, tell that guy he can take 14 packs since he already bought other stuff. So I got like 14 packs for the $20. And that was so great. There's lots of weird, crazy stuff in there. And I enjoyed that thoroughly. That was it was fun just going through the empty or the wrappers, like the full packs. I can't wait to open them up. Some stuff in there I haven't seen, didn't know about. So
and some content for the channel that EP is actually going to record. So everyone
for sure
get happy about that.
But can I talk about the biggest mistake of the trip?
Yeah.
EP bought those packs, did not buy a pack of 92 Ultra.
They were in the top left corner. I was overwhelmed by all the other stuff.
I mean, I would have paid the $20 just to have a pack to smell those cards. But
we have to try to track down a box, I think. I'll try to track down a whole box.
I don't know. A whole box might overwhelm me. Like, I'm not sure I'm ready for that because, it's been a long time.
I'll handle it. We can split it. Well, I'll buy it. We can split it. And that'll be fixed.
All right. Well, I don't have visual evidence. I already packed up. I'm sorry, but I
can verify
more than you guys, actually, which kind of surprised me. And none of it was anything I planned to buy when I went down there. So that was kind of cool. Everybody knows I'm a big wrestling collector. I'm a big Paul Heyman collector, and absolutely nothing of Paul Heyman. Just scratch that off the list. No chance at all. But then the wrestling cards were few and far between. That was a little disappointing. I thought there would be more there this year, but there really wasn't. Everything that you did see was pretty much, a sports card dealer that had a couple wrestling cards in this case. So a little disappointing there, but I did pull the trigger on a Stephanie McMahon Transcendent autograph from 2020, numbered out of 10. That was my big purchase of the weekend. Got it for $280, which I think is pretty fair for card numbered out of 10. Like, her stuff sells high, and she's running everything now. So I was really happy with that pickup. And I really don't have anything special in her, so I always wanted to, but a lot of the stuff cost a lot of money. So this weekend I decided I'll spend money. Yeah. So, and what else did I get? I got a couple, lower graded cards. I got Bryce Harper Topps rookie in SGC 9. I bought a Silver Surfer 92 Marvel Masterpiece PSA 9 because I love Silver Surfer. Just a cool card. Bought 3 packs of 89 Score football to open on the channel. So that'll be pretty cool. That'll be a fun rip. I probably won't get anything, but I'm building the set. I figured between the content and the fact I'm building the set, that's pretty cool. And actually, I got that from Baseball Card Exchange. And they were $10 cheaper than I saw them at like multiple other stands. So it wasn't too bad.
Well, they're probably like G.I. Joe cards in the pack.
They might be. I know. So I'm hopeful. Those poor women working there didn't hear those jokes all.
I know, right?
Joe, you even asked them about
it. I said, how many G.I. Joe jokes have you gotten? And she goes, everyone thinks they're the first. So.
They were pretty cool about it too. And I met Andrew Luck's wife, so pretty cool. Even though she wasn't, but I was hoping she was. But I don't think I told you that story, Joe.
You did. You did.
We did. Okay, cool. And what else? At the same stand where you guys bought your boxes, I bought a couple too. I don't even remember what I got there. I got 95 Summit football, which pretty cool odd set that you don't really hear much about. Got Skybox football. What else did I get? I don't even remember anymore.
Upper deck.
I got the
ProView,
96 Upper Deck, which is just Upper Deck, but you got a ProView card per pack. So the Upper Deck Tech, I guess they called it. But pretty cool, pretty exciting. And I bought some boxes of Topps Chrome anniversary. So
which you did rip cool. One. Not for the channel, thank God.
Well,
exclusive just for us. Exclusive just for us.
Yeah, that was Patreon content. We gotta start selling that.
Yeah, something like that. But I'm coming home with quite a bit, and I got a purse for my wife. So
I was gonna say that's the smartest purchase of the weekend.
Well, she's not gonna question what I got because she got something too.
Right,
so.
Exactly.
Gotta even things out. All about making things even. So pretty cool. So Joe, you started on it a little bit though. We had a pretty interesting situation come up when Joe was at a case looking at some Tom Brady rookie cards, and I
That
will
that
let
is
you take it from here.
that is such
Start
an
from the beginning. Start from the beginning for us.
understatement.
Yep.
Oh my goodness gracious! You want to talk? I mean, Mike, you can flash the picture, I'm sure, but this case, it had every high-end Brady imaginable. It had SP Authentic, SPX, all high grades too. You're talking the lowest graded card was a PSA 6. I just looked at the picture again this morning of a playoff contenders, which I'm
Oh,
sorry,
wow.
even a PSA 6, that's probably, we're talking
Still out
tens
of
and
your
tens of
league,
thousands of cards, right? So I'm looking at this case, and there's just a row of Skybox EX, which is an awesome card. That's just a cool set. The set itself has been cool for years, but that Brady rookie is really really nice. And I'm looking at there was an 8 there, a 9 I think. So I'm watching this guy next to me. This young woman was running the booth, and a guy comes up to her and says, "Hey, I'm looking at that EX Brady. The guy that works the booth quoted me 4,000 for it." So I didn't really think anything of it, like these cards aren't really in my normal eBay searches, like other than, oh man, if I randomly found, money, maybe I would
Mhm.
consider one of these cards. But for the most part, these are not in high grades, these are not in my wheelhouse. So he said 4,000. And I think part of me thought maybe he's buying the 9. There were a couple of 9s there or something. I just, it seemed low, but it didn't seem like, to me, it didn't seem crazy low for a 9.
Mhm.
So she pulls it out. He looks at it, and she calls someone, and she's on the phone, and you can hear her even say, "He said you quoted him for 4,000." And by the way, as an aside, the cell phone reception in there was horrendous.
Yeah.
It was hard to pull anything up
Non-existent for the
online.
most
It
part,
was.
yeah.
I can't even imagine what a phone call would have sounded like in that situation.
Mhm.
So she calls the guy who was clearly owned the booth or was running the booth or whatever, and confirmed he quoted the guy for $4,000. Guy takes $4,000 out in cash, counts it right out, walks away. Okay, don't think anything of it. So then she comes up to me and says, what can I show you?" And I said, "Oh, there's this EX9." Now, in my mind, I'm thinking maybe that's what that guy bought. 4,000 for a 9 is a good price. Like if
Mhm.
she's selling a 9 for $4,000, okay, I might be a player on this. I have some stuff I could trade, maybe throw in cash, PayPal, whatever. So, she pulls it out, shows it to me, and I'm looking at it, and there were a couple of 9s, and I'm like, "Okay, what are you looking for this one?" And she calls, and you could tell she was confused by the guy's response. And she goes, "Yeah, it's a PSA 9." And she comes over and says 7,500. I'm like, "Wait a minute. You just sold a 10." Now I'm finding out it's a 10. I'm like, "Wait a minute. You just sold a 10 for 4,000." All of a sudden, out of nowhere, and I think at this point you guys had walked up
Yeah.
because you thought, "Oh
I
shit,
thought
Joe's
you
gonna
were
buy
buying
a big
something, yeah.
big card."
We saw you talking to her, and you were all animated, and you're doing something with
Right.
your arms, and
Yeah.
Nikki and
Definitely
I
making
were
a
like,
deal
"I think
happen.
he's
Yeah.
buying
Yeah.
something. We're going
Yeah.
over."
So you guys come over, and I'm holding this like beautiful like EX Brady, and this guy just out of nowhere flies up. There was a woman there who was looking for her husband because he was looking for a contenders Brady. So I thought he was coming up because he was really excited. Turns out, no, it was the guy who owned the booth. And he just starts berating this poor woman who worked the booth,
Yeah.
and, dropping F bombs like, "Are you kidding? Are you effing kidding me? You just sold a $40,000 card for $4,000."
Mm.
And everyone was just stunned. We
Yeah.
all kind of, and he was like, "Well, what's he look like? Could you find him if?" And we're all sitting there going, "Oh, he's gone.
Yeah.
Dude is definitely out
Yeah.
of here." Because he knew, I mean, there is no way if you're willing to put down $4,000 in cash, what you're
Yeah.
doing. You're not
Anybody
you're
was
not like,
buying, yeah.
"Oh, I guess I'll just give $4,000 for this card." You know that card's worth way more than that.
Yeah. If
It's
you
not a
thought it was
40,000 card.
4,000, like, you might come back with 3,500 or something. Like,
Right,
he was just like, "No,
exactly.
I'll take it," right? Yeah.
Yeah. And, you know, it's not a $40,000 card. You know, it's only like a $25,000 to $30,000 card, but still, hell of a discount. So, you know, and
Yeah.
I'm thinking to myself, should I make the joke that, well, if you sold the 10 for 4, I'll give you 2 for the 9, you know,
No.
which is like an $8,000 card. But that
Not with
guy
the way
was
that guy was
hot.
acting.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah.
And I mean, I don't think I would have definitely bought, you know, that's out of my price range. You know, if it was the 4,000, then, you know, then I'm thinking it's a possibility even for a 9. But I didn't want to be part of that situation. We started kind of backing away a little
Yeah,
bit.
it was off. Like I felt very uncomfortable.
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
like right next to him at first,
Yeah.
and I didn't know what was going on. And like, it's a horrible situation. Like I feel awful that happened to the guy, but at the same time, like freaking out like he was, and like squatting down with his hands on his head, and like just yelling at that girl, and like, well, go find him, and like just like he
in a
that
show
wasn't
with
gonna
like
help.
tens of thousands of people.
Literally
Yeah.
the
You know, I don't know how many
busiest
people
day
actually
and
were there,
probably
but-
hour of the show was when it
Yeah.
happened, right? Like it was insane number of people there at that time.
Yeah, there
Yeah.
were, but like the way he flipped out was a little overboard. I like, again, totally understand, terrible, but okay, you need, like, you have the problem that's not helping. Like you're not helping. You're scaring people away.
Right.
Like, yeah, you're get your composure and try to figure out what you need to do. Like,
Right.
yeah,
Exactly.
and go ahead.
Well, I mean, I was going to say, and we mentioned this before. I mean, if you have a case full of cards that I think conservatively, $1 million case.
No joke. Yeah.
Yeah, no joke.
I think easy conservative number, $1 million case, because we're
He had
talking
a lot of contenders in there.
a lot of he had like 10 contenders in high grades. He had a bunch of SP authentics in high grades. I mean, $1 million case easy, not locked, right at the edge of the table.
Mhm.
Like, it just seemed like a bad idea to leave that booth. Like, and if you're going to sell one of those cards, if you're not confident in the person or confident in the cell phone service, say, I'll be right there. Hold on. Let me come and negotiate this price with this guy. Could you imagine if he showed up and the guy was like, hey, you said 4,000. The guy was like, no, I did not.
No.
4,000. What are you trying to pull? You know, and sadly, the guy probably did go in knowing, well, if the woman is there, bad stuff for maybe, you know, I wonder how nervous he was when she called the guy to ask. And he was like, oh, crap, I might be, you know, get caught in my little scam here. And then the woman came back and said, okay, that's what he said. And the guy was probably like counting real quick and then just went and played the lotto. I mean, he was just, out of there. And I don't.
The buyer definitely has a lot of blame put on him too. Because like I just, like, I've thought about it a lot since we saw it, and I can't come up with a scenario where he like, you're buying those cards, you know the value. So like, I can't find a way where it was innocent on his end. Like, I just can't. So I don't know if it was premeditated that, you know, the girl was there, the guy wasn't there. I don't know if he knew that the guy ran the stand and she didn't. But he kind of had to, didn't he? Like, I feel like maybe he was shooting his shot. Like, maybe he had been there and the guy was away and he's like, what the hell? I'll see if she doesn't know what she's doing. But at the same time, you know, I said from a business standpoint, like, I kind of feel like he made a mistake too. Like, the seller, he could have, like, with that kind of stuff, I think maybe if I had somebody working for me that wasn't really knowledgeable, I would just tell them, if anybody comes around interested in that, you know, just tell them I'll be back in 10 minutes, please. You know, I'll handle it. Like, personally, if I were setting up, if I had somebody work, like, I don't even think, no offense to you guys, but like, if that were my stand, I was selling a high end, like, multiple thousands of dollars of cards, I would just tell you to tell whoever was interested to wait a couple minutes. Mike will be back. Like, you know, I'm not blaming the seller, but like, like I'm sure in hindsight too, he's looking at it like I should have done that.
Yeah.
Like I'm sure he does. Like I feel terrible for him in that situation. Like, oh, like talk about getting punched in the gut. That's like
yeah.
kicked in the nuts and punched in the gut at the same
Right.
time. But
ultimately, it goes back to him. But I feel like like you said, the buyer, like if any of us goes to the store and somebody doesn't bring something up, we're gonna say, hey, you forgot to bring that in there. Like this is only wait, this is only this is under $20. Like you forgot this or this. Like, and that's not a $36,000 like that like Joe said, like a scam almost. You have to again assume the guy probably knew, or the buyer knew what was going down.
He's a small percentage of the people who would have done that. Like I feel like a majority of the people would have said, I don't think that's the right. Especially Joe, if he told her that the guy said four, like I feel like that was premeditated. Like the guy was trying to take advantage of, oh, here's a woman, she probably doesn't like I hate to say that, but like come on, like at these things I'm sure there are some people that probably think that way and you probably try to take advantage of it.
You know, he probably chose 4 because it sounds like 40.
Yeah.
Right. You know what I mean? And that, like, I mean,
yeah,
the guy on the phone had cell phone reception.
Absolutely.
Yep.
You know, and I wondered at that point too what kind of my responsibility there was as just someone else looking. Like I didn't know, for number one, there was no, I knew it was worth more than $4,000. I did, but I like I said before, I don't really dabble in those high end, super high end Brady. So I'm sure it was. I thought to myself, wow, that sounds cheap. I don't dabble in it enough to know what a PSA 10. I mean, I could, if I wasn't worried about my own thing, like, okay, I want to try and make a deal for this card, and kind of it was like peripheral. I probably would have thought in my head, well, a PSA 10 Bowman Chrome is a $10,000 card. The EX is more valuable than that. What's interesting though is those are numbered. So like if that shows up on eBay, what's the legality of that whole situation? Like,
I don't know.
It's like if you handed someone keys to your house and then they robbed it. Well, you handed them the keys. I don't know how. I don't know what you do in that situation.
I don't know either. But you would. I mean,
the fact he said $4,000.
Like I feel like if it's clear that person, I don't know the law. I'm not a lawyer, so I'm not sure. But I would hope that if it's clear somebody like that knew what the value was and knew that price wasn't right and said it to try to get it at a price that it wasn't, that there would probably be, I'm hoping, some kind of legal recourse to get that card back. So, although at the end of the day, I blame you, Joe, because you're Mr. Tom Brady and you were right there and you did nothing.
I should have tackled the guy. As we're walking, as I call him out and we're walking out and I get shivved or shanked or whatever. It's like, I thought, hey, this is not my store. And when the guy did come up and he's like MF and everyone who would listen, I'm like, I feel bad. I wish I could have done something for you, but
I'm getting out of here in case you pull a gun or something.
Right? Like
he was ranting practically like a Major League Baseball manager when somebody gets thrown out of the game or something like that. Like it was animated
anger.
And yep.
And
his anger was very nuanced.
It was a very nuanced anger. We EP and I walked past the was it later that afternoon? I guess.
A couple hours later. Yeah.
Oh yeah, after lunch. So we walked past, and I mean the young lady was still there. The guy was sitting there talking to people. He seemed in a good mood. I don't know.
He seemed to be joking. Yeah. He seemed to be like
he seemed to be joking around. I don't know if there's no way the guy came back and said, "Hey, I underpaid for this. I'm gonna," no one. That guy was not going to do that. I'm wondering if the guy called his lawyer or called the insurance company. You've got to think of someone with $1 million worth of Brady's just in a case. You'd think he has insurance or something. I would hope.
Though. Yeah, I really don't.
Or maybe security caught the guy in time. Like,
we don't know the resolution of it.
If that guy was
unfortunately.
still in the show after he pulled that, that's the dumbest person in the world.
You're
Because honestly,
advocating him to rip somebody off and run.
well, I'm saying if you were that type of person,
You are
why would
pretty
you
dumb.
stick
Yeah, you're
around?
dumb.
You know,
Yeah.
you are
We
an
talked
idiot.
about that. Like, if you were that guy and you decided to do that, like, we would have been back home within
Oh
10
yeah,
minutes.
Right.
I
Yeah.
would have been in
Somehow.
Pittsburgh, baby.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was this,
Oh,
but yeah, it was a wild experience, and you see other content creators and things like that, which is something we should also talk about. But you see
well,
other
you're
content
putting the cart
creators,
ahead of the horse here, Joe.
yeah, you see other content creators and do videos like this, like, oh, I just saw someone steal something at Dallas
Hmm.
Card Show, or I just saw this, someone selling fake slabs or whatever. And you're like, oh, nothing that like wild or exciting ever happens to me. And then all of a sudden I'm here ground zero of this guy
Yeah.
who just got ripped
Literally
off,
right next to him.
literally right
Right.
next to me.
Crazy.
And
Yeah.
I'm, and I'll button it with this. I think I'm the reason like he found out when he did, because I was
Yeah,
asking about the
probably.
9. And when she
Absolutely.
called and said how much for the 9, and then he must have said 7,500, because I think that's the number off the top of my head. I think that's the number that she quoted me. And I even said, wait, is that right? I mean,
Hmm.
how is a 9 that much more? How is a 9 more expensive than a 10, right? And I think she must have said something similar to that to him. And then he then realized. Could you imagine the moment he realized that? Like just the
Yeah,
heart
I
sinking in
know.
your
Just
stomach and just
awful.
being physically ill.
Yeah,
I mean, it
awful.
wasn't right how he came and berated her, but I will say, I get it.
Yeah,
I
you
could totally,
know where his
I know where it was
actions
coming from.
weren't right, but like
Mhm.
you know where the
Right.
emotion came from. Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, I
Okay.
was
Well,
actually pretty relieved though when we went back on Joe when we walked by again, because it seemed like it had been resolved enough to where he was able to get back to what he was doing, and because I
Yeah.
feel like he was interacting, joking with the people that were there. It seemed like they were either selling him a Brady or they were trying to buy a Brady, and there was a good crowd of people there. Like
Mhm.
and they were just sitting down and it's like back to business as usual, which I felt relieved for them that they were able to at least resolve it to the point where they can. We'll figure it out later, or he talked to his insurance company and said, "Oh yeah, don't worry about it. We'll take care of it." That was a bit of a relief. I wish we would have been able to get the chance to talk to them about it, but
Yeah.
there were a ton of people there. So
I would have loved to maybe today do that, but we're probably not going to go to the show. And if it was still fresh, only a couple hours since it happened, I didn't want to be like,
right,
oh, hey, I watched that all go down. What
Mhm.
happened there?
right, right.
And then I'm the enemy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I didn't have my bodyguards with me. I didn't have the team surrounding me.
As they say, the show must go on.
It
So,
must go on.
yeah, got that. But yeah, we're gonna abbreviate this episode a little bit today, but I want to wrap things up with talking about our experience meeting. We all have pretty much 3 favorite content creators on YouTube. 2 of them were at the show, and we ran into them right away on the first day there, like within the first half hour. It's kind of crazy. We saw both Sports Card Dad and Baseball Card Collector Investor Dealer, and got to meet them in person, shake their hands, talk to them for a little bit, and like, let's just talk quickly at the end here about how cool that was for all of us. And that was awesome.
Yeah, it was, and like you said, it happened really quick.
Mhm.
We were walking around with our buddy, and Dustin, Sports Card Dad, actually came up to us and
Mhm.
was like, hey, it's like, so that was cool, and he was like going over like the card he just picked up a Jordan sticker, rookie year sticker, we'll call it, right?
Mhm.
Star
Cool
doesn't have
card.
stickers, do they?
No.
But yeah, really cool card. And it was one I think he did a video on it. Actually, I haven't had a chance to watch, but he was come up and he was just kind of shooting the shit about that card and what we thought about the Nationals so far. So real affable guy, just real
Yeah, great
just
guy.
easygoing, much taller
yeah.
than I
Oh
suspected.
yeah.
I mean, we've all
He did. He was
we're
taller than I
I,
thought.
I had to do a double take. I looked back to see who's Joe talking to, and I was like, "Is that Sports Card Dad?" Like,
Yeah, he
is it?
doesn't.
Yeah.
He's taller
Mhm.
and way thinner than us. So
Who isn't?
yeah. So Mike, definitely flash the picture that we took.
Yeah,
The one that you look angry in, by the way.
I was. I'm always angry.
You are. That's your secret. But like the four of us are standing there, and it's like three really fat guys, and this 6'2", redhead. But yeah, it was he was really great to talk to, and then EP brought Chris Sewell over to us.
Yeah. I also want to thank Mike Jones for taking that photo for us too. He was our buddy. He was there for a couple of days and was able to take that photo, and that was cool.
We're gonna drop a video too of a quick little interview we did with Mike when we got there. I'll have that up.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. I before I start on the Chris Sewell meeting, I think we really benefited by being there that like early that on Friday, like in the midday Friday, because the crowd was not nearly what it was Saturday. Like there were probably people there we could have met on Saturday, but there were just so many people early in the show. It was just like a madhouse. So it really benefited us to have what we, to be there when we were. So anyhow, this is maybe 20 minutes, a half hour after we met Sports Car Dad, but not long after. And I'm just sitting there and I look up at somebody and he looks at me, and for a second I'm like, did he realize that I realized who he is? And I was like, I think that's baseball card collector, investor, dealer.
Who's like 8 feet tall.
He's
so tall. And skinny.
It's crazy.
Yeah,
he made us look twice people.
I hate these people.
So anyhow, I was like, you know what? I respect his content too much. Like I just love watching his stuff. And I was like, I'm gonna go up to him. I'm gonna talk to him. I said, hey, listen, my buddies are back here. We got a channel. We all love your stuff. Please come back and talk to him. And so he came back and was again an affable guy, just telling us about he was there buying stuff. He was at the Dallas show and like going to go to a couple other shows.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So I mean, like, really, really cool guy to talk to again.
Yeah.
And we're not. You can tell we're not professional like podcasters because at any point we should have started recording that. Like, are we can we record you for our channel? At no point did we think that to do that. So we need to work on. We need someone to teach us how to be one of those content creators that just go around with video cameras and boom mics.
Big boom mic, yeah.
Even if we got like a 30-second interview with both of them, you know what I mean? Like that would have been so cool to do, because I mean, it was a fun conversation we had with all, both of them.
But here's the cool thing, and I think this is why we like them so much. They weren't filming content either.
That's true.
They were there looking at cards and enjoying that. They weren't there to film content. They didn't have their cameraman with like their big professional camera and the boom mic, like making a spectacle of themselves. Like that's why we like their content. Like they are guys like I feel like would be awesome to sit down, have a beer with, and talk about cards, because I feel like you could just talk all night long and it would be real and it would be legitimate. Like they're not fake in any way. They're guys who know what they're doing. Like they have great YouTube channels because they're not pushing something. They're not pumping something they want to dump. They love the hobby, and those kind of guys are so good for it, because there are a lot of us out there. Yes, you have the people who are into investing and flipping and telling you what you should buy, and then telling you don't take their advice on what you should buy, but you should buy this, and such and so forth. But these people are real. They come across as real because they love cards. And I think walking around a place like that, not recording content, is like the ultimate proof that they do it for the right reason. So
And the coolest thing, and I think we mentioned this too when we were having lunch, like Dustin bought a Jordan sticker for, I think he meant something around $1,500, let's say. To him, he was like, it's a big card. I think in another video he said I had to ask the wife if it was okay. Like he's not going, I'm going to go pick up a star rookie for $100,000. That's not like, we all kind of play in the same wheelhouse in terms of the cards we like, the era we like, but also kind of like we're not walking around with cases filled with $50,000 cards. We're walking around. I got a $500 Brady. I mean, to me, I'm like, okay, that's good for me. I'm good on that. And that's kind of why we like him too, because he's not one of those guys who's going to go and pretend that they have this like hundreds of thousands of dollars to just spend on cards and make themselves look cool on YouTube or Twitter.
Yeah, definitely. All right, guys. Well, hey, this was a great trip, fun experience. Would definitely love to do it again. Maybe if it comes back here or somewhere close. I don't know.
I heard it's in Cleveland in 2 years.
Yeah, Cleveland is
so you can swing by Pittsburgh.
You know how much I love that drive from I'm sure there are people that live in parts of the country where there are absolutely nothing, but like when I drive from where I live to Cleveland, it is absolutely nothing for 5 hours. But
cornfields, baby.
Yep. Trees, a lot of trees too.
A lot of trees.
All right, guys, good chat, and we'll see you next week.
See you, boys.
Adios.